That's bad.
What's going on, guys? Hope you're having a good day. I know that I am, because today we should be able to fire up Jack for the first time since switching it to twin turbo. There's a few little odds and ends left to do. Like, I got to put the boost controller over on this side, wire it all up, plumb them up, and I have to run a vacuum line to the blow-off valve. Have to find a spot for the intake air temp sensor. That makes sense. I'd like to find it after the injector so I can see how cold it gets, theoretically. But aside from that, I got the fuel line ran to it. I still have to wire it up. I got the plug on here. Got the oxygen sensor welded in. Yeah, I don't think there's much preventing us from actually running it. We put oil in it, I think yesterday, and a fresh filter. So I think we're good to try and fire this pig up. I have not played with the tune at all yet. This is still the same tune from when he drove it in here single turbo. And I think it should be close enough to fire it up. Just have to tweak the tables a little bit once we get it running and see what it wants. I'm hoping that back cylinder on the driver's side, it's kind of weird. I think there's something wrong. So that's one of the reasons I didn't want to put the O2 sensor here. If I put it over there, it'll get a clean reading and we could ignore this issue for the time being, but I don't know. We'll be able to tell if this side starts puffing and that side doesn't, but when I pulled the exhaust gasket off that side and the exhaust and looked into the head, that back cylinder was just, it wasn't wet like there was fuel or oil or anything like that in there. It looked weird. And sometimes that cylinder fires, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. We need to investigate it a lot more. Could be bad rings and down on compression. That was one of the things we were going to do as a compression test. Anyway, let's see if this thing will fire up. I got the power turned on right now. It should be pretty full of fuel. I haven't fired it up at all yet. Everything's still nice and cold. Might crank over for a little bit, but let's see what it does. All right, maybe that was a little ambitious. Let's put it on the battery charger for a little bit, and then we'll try again. Let's see if this thing's gonna fire up now. Had it on the charger for a few minutes. Checked everything over. Don't see any fuel leaks off this new line, so should be good there. I'd hate to have that fuel drip right onto that header. Let's turn the power on and try and fire this thing up. RO2 sensor, I think, is fucked. though. Almost 70 pounds. Yeah, our fuel line started weeping a little bit. Yeah, I was trying to show you guys with that cloth that the pulses on this one, there was like a skipped beat where this one felt constant. God damn it. So let's see where this was dripping from. One of them, not sure, but one of them's dripping. But got to put a little bit of heat and everything. This side running nice and good, and I'm willing to bet it's that back cylinder again. So might probably do a compression test here shortly, see if that one's down on pressure or something, which it really shouldn't be. Could be stuck injector, could be bad coil, which I don't think it is. Could be something as stupid as just the plug wire not clipped on all the way. But aside from that, everything seemed pretty good. Had great oil pressure. I didn't actually look to see what the fuel pressure was. Still haven't put a fuel sensor on it. It was charging okay. I'd like it to be charging a little bit more, but it was at least charging. Yeah, this one's weeping a little bit too. But yeah, it runs. Sounds pretty good. I'd say it sounds 85%. Got to fix that back cylinder. Hopefully it's something stupid and simple. Which we just put head gaskets on it at the end of last year, so I know that the piston and head and everything are okay. So it's got to be something stupid, electrical probably. I say we let it cool off. I'll try and tighten that fuel line so we can let it run longer. Once it cools off, I'll investigate that back cylinder. Might do a compression test, like I said, and see if we can get that figured out. Hopefully we can. If we can, I say we fire it back up, let it warm up, put this thing on the two-step, see how it sounds. All right, I'll let it cool off for a few minutes. I can actually touch things now without getting burned, but there's still heat in the block, so I'm going to pull the back plug out and see how that looks. Hopefully it's not bad, and I'll put the compression tester in there, and we're only going to check that one. All the other ones seem to be firing just fine, so I'm not going to worry about that. We'll know right away if this one's bad. If we see like 150, 160, around there pounds of compression, then we know that that's good. What do you want, cat? What do you want, cat? There you are. You keeping on them mice away? You noisy little fucker. Alright, so I'm going to get this plug out. Alright, got the plug out and it is very wet. So, is that stuck injector or is it wet because it's not burning the fuel? Let's check the compression. Got the tester in there and we're going to crank it over with the throttle opened for about 4 or 5 rotations, just whatever feels right at the time, and see if we can get a good number out of this thing. Moment of truth. Oh. Yeah, it's not good. That is not good. So, that is about 70 pounds of compression. So we are about half of what we need to be. Shoot. Alright, so could be a couple things. We know it's not head gasket. We just put a brand new head gasket in it. And I don't think we've ran it since then. At least not hard. Could be rings. Wishy-washy on the rings. I don't remember anything noticeable about that cylinder when we had the heads off. Could be valves. And it could be something as stupid as a rocker came off. Believe it or not, I've had that happen twice on these LSs with the stock rockers. I kind of want to let this thing roll over a few more times just to be 100% sure that it is low on compression. But if it is that low on compression, that explains why that cylinder's not firing. And I know that we have swapped the coils cylinder to cylinder before. I think we've swapped the injectors before, but I don't know for sure on that. I can't remember. Roll it over a few more times to double check the compression. And if it's still low, probably pull the valve covers off and take a look at the rockers. That's the easiest place to start. Man, if it's still low after that, I guess off come the heads. And if everything looks good on that head, we're going to have to pull that piston, I guess, which sucks, but it is what it is. Let me roll this thing over a few more times. Well, frig, man. Fingers crossed right now that it's just a rocker backed off. Something stupid like that. Funny story, when I took Goldie Hawn down to Texas for 2X2K19, I think. Wow, it's been a long time. It's either 19 or 20. It must have been 19. Went down there, met up with Justin Baker, Dr. Differential and Speed Shop, right there. And he was tuning on the truck, and we were just going around beating on it, putting a bunch of miles on the truck, and it just was never as fast as it should have been, and it wasn't making as much power. Had a great time down there. I'd love to go back down to Texas eventually. I don't know when. Yeah, anyway, got all the way back up here, took it to the track, still really down on power, pulled the valve covers off, and I think it was the number 7 intake rocker was just laying in the head. So the whole time I had Goldie Hawn down in Texas, it was only on 7 cylinders. So fingers crossed that's what we got going on here. I kind of doubt it though. On the bright side, as far as the valve cover goes, since Pops made these brackets to move the coil packs up, I can get to all the bolts without having to remove anything, except the coolant temp sensor wire went right through here. So should be able to pull this thing out of the way now. Hey, do you see it? I fucking told you guys. Sweet baby Jesus. We don't have to pull the piston on this thing. How can I move this so that you can see? Every now and then we get a win. It's not too often. I'm going to get that thing bolted back up, and we'll try this one more time. Got the rocker bolted back on. Everything's good. Push rod was straight. Valve cover's back on. Went to do a compression check. That's not good. So in the midst of celebrating our huge success, I failed to remember that we just had this thing running for, I don't know, 3-4 minutes not too long ago. And the injector is here. The intake valve that was stuck is down here. Kind of see what I'm getting at? That injector kept firing that whole time, but that intake valve never opened. So this whole runner was filled with E85. So I quickly pulled the compression tester out, rolled it over. Pwah! You can't really see, most of it's evaporated, but it shot all the way over to the bench. This whole thing. Pwah! Yeah! If we just had this roller coaster of, yeah, I got the truck fired up, twin turbos sound sweet. Oh no, it's the back cylinder's still fighting us. Oh no, might have to pull the piston out. Oh yeah, it's just a rocker, we're good. Oh no, filled the cylinder with gas and cranked it over. I sure hope we didn't bend the rod. Oh, I just want to yell obscenities so bad. I swear on all that is holy, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to let the battery charge for a little bit, go inside, try and forget about this. I'll come back out, I don't know, later, tomorrow, in a few months, and see if we can let things kind of evaporate. I still have to plug out of that hole. I think I've got some good plugs that I can toss in it. Honestly, let everything evaporate off of it, and it'd probably be fine. If we're getting nitpicky, we shouldn't do that, but let's be honest. We do a lot of things around here we're not supposed to do, like fill a cylinder full of fuel. Got this all sorted, plugs are back in it. Check the compression on the back cylinder now that everything's together. Seems all good. Plug that coil pack in before I forget it. Wonder why this thing was running like crap.
Oh yeah, 4-cylinder.
I did that on Goldie Hawn once. We were doing something with it at your place and forgot to plug it in and drove it all the way from your house to here on 4 cylinders. You might be able to get that better than I can. The coolant temp sensor. All right, had this thing charging for a while. Yeah, I think we're ready to fire it back up. Hopefully I got this fuel line all tightened up. I tightened these a bunch more, so fingers crossed. This is going to be his first time hearing it. Yeah. it?
Yeah.
There's plenty of it.
That would be a gear to get it up and stuff.
Yeah, I'd pull it down to first. We can pull it down to first and do a light one real quick. And just watch that number and see what it makes. Alright, our first two-step check. There's no boost controller, so that's not bad. What RPM did it get to?
32.
Okay. You want to do one more? Good.
Got up to 3.
To 3 that time?
Yeah.
Alright, we can probably kill it. So I'm gonna get some heat and everything. Some actual heat. Yeah, this back cylinder's firing perfect now. All 8 pipes are nice and hot. With the boost controllers not hooked up at all yet, got up to 3 pounds at 3,200 RPM. You could hear it sounded kind of weird just because there's no boost controller or anything like that, and the tunes hasn't even been looked at for this setup, but everything's got a nice gold tint to it now. Well, feel better hearing it run?
Yeah.
Didn't take that long to swap it over.
Did you leave the coil on the cover when you took it off?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I
Could-
was gonna say,
could get to all-
you should have been able to do that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, now that he moved those up, you can
Yep.
get to everything. The only thing I had to pull out of the way was the coolant temp sensor. Everything else just lifted right out of the
If it
way.
was over here on the side,
Yeah.
no, I was looking at that when I thought about that. I was like, fuck. Okay, I get to him.
Yeah. I'm so happy that back cylinder's
Oh,
healthy.
well, you could read my text I sent you.
Yeah.
Trying to find Snoopy doing the happy dance. Yep, as soon as I seen that valve, I was thinking, Goldie. All that time going to Texas, riding around down there. And
That's the exact
racing,
story.
All that, come back. Fuck, all it was, the Rockers could have fixed it down there.
That's the exact story I told earlier, too.
Told what's his name to. Okay, now let's race. Now we're on 8 cylinders instead of 7.
Yeah, that whole time, we put probably 150 miles on the truck down there.
A lot.
Drove it all over, I think, Bay
All over
City or
his- yeah,
Baytown.
His place all the way up into Houston.
All around Houston and back to
Drag
Baytown.
strip and- yeah, when they start fucking up, I'm gonna have to start pulling tap covers off or valve covers off.
Well, I would have swore when Mike was up here we pulled that valve cover off, but we must have just talked about it. Because I remember we changed the coil pack and tried a different one. Well, finally got your twin turbo LS in here.
Yeah. What I ought to invest money into rims or fucking front bumper. Bumper, fucking everybody bitching about the rims.
Well, that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We got fire in the pipes for Jack again. Just a couple things here and there to button up. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell to get the notifications. I'll see you next time.